Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. In this video, I want to talk about a connection that you may not be aware of. Did you know of the connection between Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid condition, celiac disease, which is an autoimmune condition in the gut, where gluten causes this massive inflammatory response in the intestinal tract and causes problems with absorption, lots of issues, and even something called non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Did you know that there's this relationship between gluten and Hashimoto's? And if you've been following anything in this natural health world, then you know you've probably heard about gluten. You've probably been suspicious of this, and you've heard a lot of talk about gluten and its potential connection with Hashimoto's. Well, one of the things that we know is that people that have Hashimoto's are about 4 times more likely to have celiac disease, which is this full-blown autoimmune condition against in the gut that causes all kinds of problems with absorption of food, and it can be very devastating to your health. So we know that there's this connection. We know that people that have celiac disease are more likely to have Hashimoto's. So we know it goes both ways. There's something that I think is very interesting is that there's also this spectrum. So people have asked me, there's a lot of stuff out there about research that's been done that showed that there were no symptoms, and that there's no such thing as gluten sensitivity, and I disagree with that. If you want to know the hard research from the best researchers in the world that are checking this out, check out Alessio Fasano's work. He's a Harvard-trained gastroenterologist, pediatric gastroenterologist in Harvard. He's doing all the research. He's doing a lot of the research in this area, and he's just a fantastic researcher, and what he's taught us is amazing. And I think he deserves a Nobel Prize for it. I mean, it's phenomenal. So what we know is that there's a spectrum of sensitivity, and so when you get checked for like celiac disease at these common labs, like the commercial labs that are available, they'll check for I believe two, they call them peptides of gluten. They check IgG antibodies. I don't have time to really go into what all that means, except that they check part of these immune system cells. That it's really an incomplete test based on what we know. And if you want to get the best test to know if you have a gluten sensitivity, then you go to Cyrex Labs, Cyrex array number 3, the wheat and gluten proteomic reactivity array, I think it's called. It's a mouthful, but it's the array where they check gluten, and they check 10 different peptides of gluten. So 10 different ways you can react to this wheat molecule, right? So when you get conventionally tested, it's inadequate. We find when we do that array number 3 that there's about a 50% rate of false negatives on the commercial lab test, right? So they come back negative, but about 50% of the time we have something that the person's actually reacting to a part of the gluten molecule or the wheat protein, and this tends to be something that is not picked up commercially. And it doesn't cause symptoms in a lot of people. So they're like, well, I don't have any GI symptoms. Well, did you know that the #1 cause or the #1 symptom for a gluten reaction is actually neurological? It's not GI related. So there are a lot of people that have full-blown celiac disease, the worst kind of gluten autoimmunity, and they have no GI symptoms. None. But yet they have this raging inflammatory condition in their gut that can cause major consequences. We know it can lead to an earlier death. There's a lot of different things that are going on. So you don't have to have any symptoms to have a reaction to gluten. So I want you guys to know that, and know that it's a very commonly inflammatory food that there's a connection with Hashimoto's. So I wanted to share that with you guys and try to clear some things up, because it's really important you understand that. For most people, they do better without gluten, and you can get tested to figure out exactly what's going on and be more specific as to what you remove from your diet. But most people don't do well with gluten, and some can get away with it. But you should check out Alessio Fasano's work. I mean, he's published some research where even people with no gluten sensitivities, no immune reactivity at all, they did testing and they developed intestinal permeability. I don't know exactly the details of how long they had intestinal permeability after eating gluten, but they checked 4 different categories of people, and they checked people that had celiac disease all the way to people that had different sensitivities, and then people that had no immunological tests, no immunological response to gluten, and every single group developed intestinal permeability. So does that predispose you to autoimmunity? Does that create other problems? I mean, it's it's a problem. You know, it's something that we have to consider. And we all need to take seriously when we're looking at changing our diet if we really want to be healthy, right? You at least getting testing, or at least removing it from your diet for a significant amount of time before trying to add it in again. Okay, Dr. Shook here. I appreciate you guys. If you want to understand more about diet, we use probably 8 to 10 different diets in our practice clinically. And so what I did was I took the program that I use most often with people, the dietary approach, and I added all these lifestyle educational videos and tips to help people take more of a holistic approach. And we created this program called the 6-week Hashimoto's Transformation Program. And it's designed really to help people decrease inflammation, balance blood sugar, and help support their gut health so that they can dampen autoimmunity and just get systemically healthier. So it's appropriate for people that have Hashimoto's. It can be appropriate for people that have any autoimmune condition, including Graves'. I've seen it work extremely well for people that have diabetes. So I just want you to know that that's a great place to start. If you guys are interested in getting that information, just let us know, post below, and we will post a link for you. But I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for coming here and learning more about your health. If there's anything that we can do for you, let us know. And we will do everything that we possibly can to help empower you so that you can take your health back. Really appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.